Monkey Blanket Crash Course Part 2. Alright, so since the last video, I just went ahead and added 4 more rows. And again, once you get to one end, like I did here, you can just add another loop and start going the other way. Right, and just keep going. Okay, but I'm going to stop here just for example purposes. You can see that you have 4 loops if we count the edge. This is 1 loop, 2, 3, and this is the 4th. Okay, so now we want to know how to change colors. Let me zoom you in and we'll get started. So there's different ways to connect different colors, and I'll show you 2 of them. Okay, so I want to make sure this next row is a different color already, so I don't want to be able to see the connection. So to do that, I'm going to keep that last loop, and then I'm going to cut maybe an inch outside of it. I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to undo this last loop, just so I can have room to work with. Okay, from here, you can take your next color. I'm going to use a lighter pink. 2 ways. First way, which I'm not a fan of, is you just tie it off here, double knot it, just like you tie your shoelace, pull it tight, okay? Pull it really, really tight, and then you can cut off these ends. I'm not a fan of this because I can feel this big ball, and I don't like that, okay? So that's totally fine if you want to do it. Once you weave it in, you won't be able to see because you want to cut really, really close to these knots, okay? That way you only have the 2 ends and a ball, okay? However, I'm not a fan of that, so what I've been doing on my blankets, okay, is I'll take both ends, lay them close to each other, then I'm going to take some thread. This is an extra step, but it works for me and I prefer it. I'm going to take some thread, I'm going to cut maybe about this much, okay, and I'm going to basically lay it down, put both pieces on the thread, okay. So basically just make a knot with this thread. I always double knot it before moving it, and then I cross it in the opposite direction to hide those tails, flip it over, and do 2 more knots. And then that way, I don't feel such a large knot in the ball. I'll do it one more time to hide those tails. I don't feel such a hard knot in the ball when we just tie the 2 pieces of yarn together, and I think it's hidden a little bit more. Once you do that, cut off your excess thread, and you can continue as normal, okay? So now you can put that loop back in, and when you start the next row, you should be able to see that pink without seeing a big knot or anything, and you just continue going on with your other color.